Hello and welcome to episode 12 of The Final Whistle. I'm Drew Ziegler and I'm here with Stephen Kubis and James Gougosis. Today we will talk all about college basketball, MLB spring training, the NBA, and a little bit of MMA. And first our game, Iowa defeated Michigan State 112-106. Iowa's down 13 with a minute and a half to go, and they came back to win it. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, amazing win for Iowa. They're just a different team when they're home. They're averaging 90 points a game when they're at home. Just unbelievable comeback. They couldn't miss a shot at the end. For Michigan State, it's just bad loss. This was really a big game that could strengthen their resume coming into March. Give them a high seed, but now, this is a bad look for them.
Michigan State's been a good team all year round. I think they have really hard schedule, but they've been losing a lot of bad games here and there. But what can you do when Iowa is just throwing up the ball and it's just going in the net? You really can't defend that. It's hard to, especially when they're just shooting lights out at the end of the game. It's obviously a tough loss for them, but it's just very hard to defend teams that can just shoot like that at the end of the games.
Yeah, Spartans have had a really tough schedule this year, I think. I agree with you. And those amount of points in the game for both teams, that's unheard of. And number 17, Indiana, upsets number 5, Purdue, yet again, 79-71.
Hey, Purdue, like I said last show, they're frauds, man. They can't. What are they doing, man? They're supposed to be this big team in the Big Ten. They can't be losing these games. Number 5 in the country. At one point, they're at number 2, and I think I saw a post the other day. Their odds of winning the title is plus 1,000. Hey, if you're one of the top teams in the country and your odds are that high to win a national championship, it's not looking really good for you guys.
Yeah, Purdue, big rivalry game to avenge their loss a couple of weeks ago. This was an important game for them, and for Indiana to come in and just pretty much dominate the game. It's a bad look for Purdue. Indiana's been playing really well. They've been a little inconsistent, but they could be a scary team when it comes to March. When they're playing well, they're really, really good.
Yeah, Indiana, they could be one of those top teams that could make a run and go up and win the tournament. And another game, Michigan beat Wisconsin 87-79 in a big game. Two teams could be looking out from the bubble, and who do you think's the better one from that? Obviously, we saw Michigan win, but can they both make the tournament?
I think it's going to be really tough for both to make the tournament. It just they were both right around there in the bubble. I think it's definitely possible. I think Wisconsin right now maybe has a slightly better chance, but during that game, Hunter Dixon making that half-court shot. I don't understand how Wisconsin doesn't foul there when you're up 3. I'll never understand that, why teams don't foul when they're up 3. It just doesn't make sense. And to lose like that, that was an important game for Wisconsin. If they win that game, they're very comfortably in it. Now they got to face Purdue with their tournament chances on the line, possibly. If they lose that game and then don't win a couple games in the Big Ten tournament, they're not making the tournament. It's be a disastrous end to the season for the Badgers.
Hey, both of those teams I think, in my opinion, have to perform well in the conference tournaments to even show that they're worthy enough to make it to the tournament, because the conference tournaments those are tough games. Those are usually when you see a lot of upsets and stuff like this happening. Some teams get hot at the right time. So I think if one of these two teams can get hot at the right time, though, I think they'll. If they don't win it, whether getting hot, everybody sees them. Oh, their team's looking good right now. I think they can still make it.
And big rivalry game, Arizona State upsets number 7 Arizona 89-88, and Arizona State with just an unbelievable shot at the buzzer, a half-court shot to beat Arizona.
It's great to watch, honestly. I love seeing those types of shots go in. It's a good feeling. Everybody gets the tingles from the chills. It's a great feeling. It's good for Arizona State. Arizona, see you later. You guys lost at your home to your rivals. That must suck.
Yeah, crowd going dead silent after. That only happens in college basketball. That's why it's one of the best sports out there. Just unbelievable half-court shot to win the game. Arizona. I think Arizona State was comfortably in it, but now they're definitely in it. They could probably lose out and still make the tournament. So this was a really good win, especially big rivalry game. Arizona State's probably on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, Arizona State, 20-plus wins, not ranked. I think they could be a team that could be ranked in the future. And another big upset, just a huge win for the UNC Tar Heels, upsetting number 6 Virginia, 71-63.
Yeah, I think Virginia's a little overrated in my opinion. 2 consecutive losses, but this was a win UNC desperately needed. They're outside the bubble, but to finally get their first quad 1 win in February, they really needed this win. Really important for their tournament chances.
Virginians are just Virginia's just not like as good as their start was, obviously, because they keep losing. But UNC isn't a bad team. I mean, hey, the ACC is a tough battle. Every game in the ACC thing is close. Like Virginia barely beat Clemson. It's just how it is there. But I think UNC are obviously a good tournament team. If they make it, they're obviously going to make a run. I mean, I don't like to say because I'm a Duke fan, but when they get in there, they're going to shine. So if they make it, it's going to be pretty scary for the team, especially as a lower seed. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, UNC, they were a number 8 seed last year, and they made the championship. Should have won, but they could be a scary team, and that's not a team you want to play in March. And number 18 UConn beat Providence 87-69, just a big win for UConn, and that really solidifies them, I think, as a top team.
I mean, yeah, UConn needed that win really after losing all those games. I call them frauds all the time, but they had a win here and there. It's a big conference win for them. Obviously, they lost them the first time they played. I think that this is a really good bounce back for them, and they're looking in pretty good shape right now. Not too good though.
Yeah, they're playing pretty well right now. I mean, after starting the season really well and then falling off a cliff, right now they're playing good enough where they're really going to be able to be a team that could possibly upset. If they're a 4 seed, like the number 1 seed, possibly, but we'll see from here. I mean, UConn, I think if they play a little bit better, they could really be a scary team. Yeah,
the Big East is pretty strong this year, and another team who came back after losing to them recently, number 12 Gonzaga beat number 15 St. Mary's 77-68, big win for the Zags.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga, big win after losing to St. Mary's a couple weeks ago. I think they're one of the best teams maybe not the best, but like top there. I mean, they've been playing really, really well this past month or two. So I think they'll be scary when it comes to March. I feel like after the start they've had, people were writing off Gonzaga, saying they weren't the same Gonzaga team. I was just writing them off, but they've been playing really, really well, kind of under the radar.
I mean, I'm disappointed that St. Mary's lost. I want to see them win over Gonzaga, but you gotta give them props for playing well, But I hope they're one of those teams that gets upset by like a lower ranked seed in the March Madness tournament. I just don't like Gonzaga. Like, if Gonzaga's gone, the tournament's more fun because then like a team from like the most random school is winning, and I feel like that's more fun to me to watch than watch Gonzaga go all the way.
Yeah, Gonzaga, they seem to always be a 1 seed in the tournament, and now they're not going to be. So maybe the tides will change, and now they'll make their run and win the tournament. And some upcoming games: number 2 Alabama plays number 24 Texas A&M, and Texas A&M is home in that game. Big game.
I mean, Texas A&M lost to Mississippi State, which I thought was really weird. SEC also another really you're going at it every game type of conference. But if Texas A&M home, I mean, you already know that crowd's gonna be packed because it's number 2 Alabama. I think, especially Alabama too. Like, they're football heads now. Them too. I think this will be a good game for Texas A&M to win because I think the crowd would help them in the way they're going to play at home.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State's going to keep it close, but Alabama's going to win this game. I don't think I think they're going to pull away really at the end. I think Alabama's just too good, especially with Mississippi State. Texas A&M losing to Mississippi State. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Yeah, they're not playing Mississippi State. They're playing Texas A&M, but that's okay. Number 3 Kansas, they head to the Moody Center to match up with number 8 Texas. That'll obviously be a big game.
Huge game, top 10 matchup. Kansas playing the best basketball they played all year. Texas, they just got upset, but I think home game, packed crowd behind them. I think Texas is going to win this game. I just got that feeling. Kansas, if it was a home game for Kansas, they'd probably win that game, but I got Texas in this one.
I was watching the Kansas versus Texas Tech game the other day, and I wasn't really impressed with Kansas. It didn't really seem like their offense was as good as it was. I mean, Wilson's not playing as good either. I mean, he's putting up a couple points here and there, but like he's been like on a little cold streak right now. But if you're going away to Texas, I think he needs to step up a lot. He hasn't been that guy since like a couple games back, but right now he's on a little cold streak. I think if Kansas wants to win, they need to step up their offense big time right now.
Kansas has a good team, though. They're very versatile on offense, and they've got a lot of players who can go get them a bucket. And there are 2 big ACC matchups coming up Saturday night. First up, Pitt and Miami. Ranked Pitt, but they just did lose. And Miami's also ranked, so that'll obviously be a big game.
I mean, hey, I think Miami's going to win this one. I think they're getting a little heartbroken after getting upset by Florida State off of a 3-pointer, buzzer beater. Obviously, those are tough, probably crying in the locker room after that. But I don't know if Pitt's got what it takes to beat Miami. I mean, Miami's, like, pretty good this year, but I just got Miami.
Yeah, I got Miami too. I don't really like Pitt that much, but I think Miami is going to really come out strong, win this game against Pitt. I think Pitt's a little bit of frauds, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've also got Miami in this one, but just the biggest rivalry in college basketball coming up. A huge game for both teams. Duke heads to Dean Smith Center in a big matchup with the UNC Tar Heels.
Yeah, huge game for UNC. I mean, this is a must-win game. Even if it's a rivalry game ago, it's a must-win game, but this is for their tournament chances. But I got Duke in this one. I think Duke is just a much better team. UNC, if they used Armando Bacot more, I think they'd be really, really good, but they don't use him that much. It's just always Caleb Love. I'll never understand why. So I got Duke in this one.
I mean, hey, Duke beat him last time, I love Duke. I hate North Carolina. I got Duke in this. Obviously, they're playing their best basketball right now. Coach Snyder's finally finding out what to do with his team, and I love it. They're a 5-game winning streak, too. They're undefeated at Cameron Indoor Stadium. They beat them there. I think that Duke's going to go there and just make every UNC fan cry because of the way I think they're going to win.
I'm going to go against you guys in this one. I got the Tar Heels. Maybe Roy Williams will give some inspiration to Hubert Davis and that Tar Heels roster. And our last upcoming game, number 8 Arizona travels to number 4 UCLA to face the UCLA Bruins.
I mean, hey, I don't like UCLA. I never did. So I'm hoping they get upsetted. Obviously, I just don't like UCLA. I don't know what it is about that. I just don't like them. So I hope they lose. Yeah,
after that heartbreaking loss to Arizona State, I don't think Arizona's going to be able to overcome that defeat. I think UCLA is just too good. I think they're really going to dominate this game.
Yeah, I don't think Arizona is such a great team, even though they're number 8 ranked. I don't think they have that many big wins. They did beat UCLA in the beginning of the year, but both teams scored around 50 points, and I think UCLA is just a better team. And now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to talk about MLB spring training. Back, and now the MLB spring training games finally started, and we're going to talk about those. There's a lot of home runs going on, but the games still seem to be shorter, which is obviously their plan of attack for the MLB, now around 2.5 hours for all the games.
Yeah, I think now that we're really seeing it with the pitch clock and stuff, I think it's really, really good for the game. Us fans, I think we're going to watch it no matter what, but it's the rule is more for, young fans or people trying to get it, but they don't like it because it's too slow paced. I mean, we just saw a 14-14 game with the A's, end in 3 hours and 16 minutes. So if that would happen before the pitch clock, that's well over 4 hours. So I think it's good for the game, for us, for new fans who want to come and watch the game and not sit there for 4 hours at a time.
I think this new time rule is only good for fans that are trying to watch the game or trying to learn what baseball is about. But as a baseball fan my whole entire life, I really don't like it. I don't like how the game's rushed. I don't like how the players have to feel like they have to always be in the box and have to be set right away. I just don't like that feeling, especially as a baseball player. If I was rushed as a pitcher or as a hitter, it's just not. I wouldn't like it. I have to stare at a clock to make sure I have to get ready to pitch. And there's also limits on pickoffs and all this stuff. And I just don't like how they're just trying to shorten the time.
Yeah, I feel like as a baseball fan my whole life also, I don't like it, but it could help people get into the game, like you said, and hopefully it does, because otherwise there's no point in it. And these players, some say they're getting affected, some say they aren't. What are your thoughts?
I just think that it's a very big effect. I mean, some players like to kick the sand a little bit before they hit. Pitchers like to adjust the mound, and I think that you have to it honestly could potentially cause injuries within pitchers and stuff like that. Especially because what if a player in the batter's box has something in their eye? They have to scream time. The umpire won't give him because of the clock, and he's got to take an automatic strike. It's just stupid like that. I mean, I think they should definitely take away. I think they should let a full game of baseball be in the playoffs. I think when the playoffs come, it should just be the normal time limit like it was last year. I don't think they should rush anything in the playoffs because it's just not a good look.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Something like the extra inning second base rule, they just scrap it in the postseason. I mean, pitchers, I feel like they've had mixed reactions. Scherzer said he liked it, but then Quintana said he felt a little rushed on the Mets. So, I think pitchers will eventually get used to it. I think the first month to be a little bit of growing pains. I think you expect that with every rule. I mean, the first month is a little rough usually.
Yeah, somebody like Max Scherzer, he finds the advantages to this rule. That's just what a great pitcher he is. And there was a game, Braves and Red Sox, end in a tie because it's still spring training and they're not going to play extra innings. After the bases were loaded, 3-2 count, and an automatic strike 3 is called on the batter. Obviously, he was pissed off.
That was hilarious. I mean, I called it for last episode. We were talking about, I mean, the game's going to end controversially on one of those calls. I mean, it's just spring training, so it's not that big of a deal. But it was pretty funny to watch.
I mean, hey, that's probably the dumbest thing I've ever watched in my life, to be honest. Like, just to see him like just walk to the dugout and everybody's just like looking at each other like, oh, this game really just ended like that. I think it's dumb. Like, honestly, as the umpire, it's like you call it and you're just sitting there like the umpires are just like they're not doing their jobs anymore. Really, if they gotta wait 20 seconds to do that, but they definitely should take that thing away. I think they should take away the 9th inning. Honestly, if they're gonna do a pitch clock, because if that happens. Bases loaded, let's say Lindor's up, and then he strikes out, like, and the inning's over. Like, I know everybody, all the Mets fans, even him, are probably going to throw stuff at people because that is just unbelievable the way it's going to end like that.
I don't think they're able to do that because they're going to have to adapt to this rule. They put it in for a reason, so it's not going to just go away. They're going to have to stand with it. And players are playing more because they have the World Baseball Classic coming up in 2 weeks probably about, and that's going to be really fun to watch. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I love to see all the Mets players playing it. I'm obviously a Mets fan, but it's exciting to watch baseball a bit earlier. You know, I hate waiting so long to watch baseball, but this is more fun because it's countries, so it's like you're rooting for USA, obviously, and then I have to root for Bryce Harper as a USA player, not as a Phillies player, because I hate the Phillies, but obviously he's not playing it, but I was just using him as an example, so.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a World Baseball Classic since, I think, 2017. You know, just great. I mean, you know, it's always entertaining. You know, it's always fun. You know, competitive baseball, and you know, right before opening day, you know, get you in the mood for baseball. Yeah, I think it's be a great event.
Yeah, I think there are going to be a lot more people into it this year, and I think it's going to be really fun and cool to watch. Obviously, players representing their country, like they're said, and they're pumped up to do it, obviously, with all the great players playing this year. And now we're going to take a short break, and we'll be talking about the NBA when we come back. We're back, and now we're going to get into the NBA. There are a lot of big games this past week, and the first up, we're going to talk about just a crazy game. Double overtime, Kings defeat the Clippers 176-175, which was the second highest scoring game, and the Kings stay as the 3rd seed. Very surprising.
I mean, it was such a good game. You know, 2 top matchups in the West. I mean, no defense was obviously played if 176 points are scored. But honestly, the Kings are a scary team. You know, they're really good. I mean, they just came out of nowhere, become this good. I think De'Aaron Fox is like that guy. Honestly, he's carrying this Kings team to a lot of way. But the Clippers, on the other hand, they did just as well. Obviously, they lost by 1 point, but they're putting up these points too. And I mean, the Clippers, they're just as good as them, but it was a good game to watch. Yeah,
it's been a while since the Kings are good. In that game, Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox, they combined for 87 points. And another big game, a division matchup. Jaylen Brown has 26 points against the Sixers and a 110-107 win to maintain the 1 seed.
I mean, any day the 76ers lose is a good day. I don't like Philadelphia, so I mean the Celtics. Yeah, they're just they're probably the best team in the NBA right now. I know the Bucks are on a 16-game winning streak, but the Celtics are just like they're just dynamic. I mean, they're really good at both sides of the ball, and I don't know. I can't see them like not losing. So.
Yeah, Joel Embiid, though, you can't look past. 41 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and he had a full court shot right as the buzzer ended, and it didn't count, which would have tied the game to send it to overtime.
That was crazy when I was watching that. I couldn't believe they didn't count it.
Yeah, he knew it right away. But Drew Holiday led the Bucks with 33 points to beat the Suns 104-101 in the absence of Giannis.
I mean, hey, if you can do that without Giannis, having someone step up when Giannis isn't there is really good to have because you need an extra guy besides Giannis. And I'm happy Holiday did it. I mean, Holiday he's been like sneaky good. Everybody knows he's good, but like no one like praises him about it. So I'm glad he's stepping up when he needs to.
Yeah, very underrated player. Obviously a great defensive player his whole career, and now he's stepping it up with offense. And another buzzer beater, Trae Young against the Nets. Nets came back from down a lot, but Trae Young still finishes them off with a buzzer beater.
I mean, hey, the Hawks got a new coach and everything. Trae Young is a shooter, man. You let him shoot the shot, he's going to make it, I think. But he isn't having that great of a year as he was in a couple past years. But the Hawks, they're not that good in my opinion.
Yeah,
They're
maybe
like
around a
mediocre.
playing team.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, Quinn Snyder signs a 5-year deal to become the head coach of the Hawks. Big deal, was a former Jazz coach. And another big game that same day, the Lakers come down from 27 points to defeat the Mavericks 111 to 108.
I remember looking at that game when they were losing by like almost 20 points. I was like, there's no way. I was like, I'm gonna turn this game off. I turn it off. Next thing in the morning, I see Lakers win. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Honestly, it's good for the Lakers though. They need it, but LeBron's out, which is not a good sign for them. But I mean, I don't know what the Mavericks are doing right now, man. They're losing way too much with Kyrie and Luka. It's not looking good for them.
Yeah, that might trade and might not work out for them, but we'll see. They still have time, and they'll still make the playoffs, obviously. As you said, LeBron did get hurt. He'll be out around 2 to 3 weeks. But some big games in that game. Anthony Davis, 30 points, 15 rebounds, and a surprise Jared Vanderbilt, who they just traded for, 15 points, 17 rebounds, and 4 steals, providing a lot of energy.
I mean, Anthony Davis has not been playing as good as he used to be, or as everybody knows him. I think a lot of people are calling him out for it, and I think without LeBron, he's got to show like who Anthony Davis is, the unibrow man. He's got to step up and just show like that he's always been there. He's never fallen off. So I think it's good for Anthony Davis to put up a game like that.
Yeah, this is obviously a big test for the Lakers, especially without LeBron, and see what they can do if they can make the playoffs. And just an amazing game, amazing performance. Damian Lillard, 71 points, 13 threes against one of the worst teams in the league, obviously the Rockets.
I mean, I'm a big Damian Lillard fan, honestly. You can't hate that man. I mean, he's just like a fun guy to watch, honestly. But I'm glad he's putting up these points. I mean, I'm sad he's gonna stay in Portland. I wish he was on the Knicks, man. If I had one point guard in the league to be on the Knicks, it'd be him. But I'm just happy for him that he's putting up all these shows and he's helping his Portland team out. He's doing it for the city,
Yeah, he's such a great player, but doesn't look like he's ever gonna get that ring playing for Portland. And the 1-seed Nuggets, they beat the 5-seed Clippers 134 to 124 in overtime. Also. Paul George, he had a shot just like Embiid right at the end of the fourth quarter that would have won them the game, but it didn't count even though he made it from about half court to full court.
I mean, Paul George is a little rough when it comes to like buzzer beater shots. It's either a game winner counts on him or he's going to shoot and it doesn't count. But I mean, the Nuggets though are like, they're just probably one of the greatest regular season teams of all time.
Yeah.
And then postseason, they just fall apart. I mean, they do have a cheat code on the team with Jokic. I mean, that guy, video game numbers, literally, it's like him just toying around with other players on other teams. But that's just a crazy ending for that game.
Yeah, Jokic, triple-double machine. He had 40 points, 17 rebounds, and 10 assists in that game. Just a crazy game. But your New York Knicks and my New York Knicks, 7-0 since getting Josh Hart. They've just been playing amazing, like one of the top teams in the league.
Dude, this is like the greatest thing ever. The Knicks are the 5-seed, 37-27. That's unbelievable, honestly. If you told me this at the beginning of the year, I mean, I might say I could have believed you, but I probably wouldn't believe you. I'd probably say they're definitely over 500 mark, but over 10 games over is honestly awesome. I mean, they're literally up there with the top teams in the league right now, and I think the Josh Hart trade was awesome because he plays defense. Knicks needed one defensive guy, and that's Josh Hart. I mean, the last game he put up 4 points, but he played like 20-something minutes, and he was just playing his heart out defense every game. I love this guy.
Yeah, fundamentally sound, always running for loose balls, getting on the ground, diving for them. But a team with double their win streak, the Bucks, 16-game winning streak, as you mentioned earlier. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's actually unbelievable. It's actually crazy how they don't slip one out, but good for them.
And that shows you how good the Celtics are, still being the 1 seed. And Kevin Durant makes his return from that MCL injury with the Suns, and he scores 23 points in a win against Charlotte while only playing 27 minutes.
I mean, he looks like the same old KD himself, honestly. A smooth player that jogs up and down the court, give you a bucket or two. But, I mean, what else do you expect from KD besides to be great?
Yeah, that'll obviously be a scary team in the playoffs. And now we're going to throw it to the hallway to see John Grant discuss MMA with other students at Wayne Hills.
I'm out in the hallway getting predictions on UFC 285, John Jones versus Cyril Gane. I'm here with Jack Monacera. What are your predictions?
Honestly, Grant, I think I got John Jones winning it because, in my opinion, I think he's the greatest of all time. And I know he hasn't fought in 3 years, but I think his instincts will come back to him.
Thanks, Jack. All right, now I'm with Jared, Ryan, and John, and we're going to get some more predictions for John Jones versus Cyril Gane. Jared, who do you got?
I got John Jones with a first-round KO.
All right, John.
John Jones, first round, arm triangle submission. You already know. Let's get this bread.
Conor McGregor.
All right. Now I'm here with Stephanie Tolpin. Stephanie, who do you got?
Definitely John Jones for sure.
Thanks, Stephanie. Now I'm here with Chelsea for Nicola. Chelsea, what are your predictions?
John Jones is going to destroy. He's going to dominate all the John Jones out there. Fans, we got this. We're going to win that.
Thanks, Chelsea.
And that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into episode 12 of The Final Whistle. We'll see you next week.